Ring, ring. Hey, Blair.
Who is this?
How are you doing? You doing okay?
You have to say it's Mr. A.
Yeah. Blair, how you doing?
Things have been going how they're going.
That's good. I'm so glad to hear. I'm so glad to hear it's going how it's going. Anyway, there's my friend I want you to talk to. That actually happened to me last night. Famed friends of the MIA, Augie and Sophie, and I were at Taco Bell having a cigarette outside. And this guy drove up and walked in. And I'm like, I know that guy. We've met before, haven't we? And I had met him a decade ago when I was a little boy. We were making a movie together with my now past friend, Josh Bruce. Rest in peace. He had played a vampire guy. But I remembered his face very distinctly. He talked about being he looks like Gordon Ramsay. I think his name is Randy Mamoli. But that was my odd occurrence of the night.
Were you the one who went up to him and were like, "We've met before
Yes.
at your house," smiling sinisterly? I love that scene because I love that every crime syndicate boss inevitably just has Goetian demons on staff.
Absolutely. Can you imagine the people like at the very, the mafia probably got low level. But if you were like dealing with federal agencies, the demons they have on staff.
Insane. I mean, Wexler, right? The fucking Victoria's Secret guy. He's got the I have oh shit, it's right here. You ready? This is a MIA employee. The little red man.
Love. Oh, the hat. Oh my god, it's awesome.
He was a toy that was gifted to a friend of mine who they didn't like it for their child. So I was like, "Oh, I'll take him." And I remember the story you told me of Napoleon's little red man. So he's been advising Good. With different decisions. He'll show up and dream, show up at the right time to tell me the directions to go in.
Here's an astrological observation that I've been playing with. And it's good because we both have it. It's something we both have. So you will automatically understand what I'm talking about. This podcast is truly a living expression of this placement. So I've been thinking now for fucking years about Neptune, about the planet Neptune in astrology, how it doesn't strongly relate to the god Neptune or Poseidon. But in my readings of the fairy mythology, there are fairies called Neptunes. And I've come to strongly correspond Neptune with fairies. And I was reading the Crowley astrology tome that I'd been given by Ava and finally confirmed it. Like I was finally reading it closely enough that I was like, oh, this is confirming. He does mention fairies quite a bit in relation to Neptune. But the house placement. So the signs are kind of secondary. I don't want to talk about it right now, but I want to talk about the house placement of Neptune. So we both have Neptune in the third house. So my theory is basically wherever Neptune is in your chart along the houses is where the fairies are playing. So the third house is the kind of mental house, the house of the mind. So our ideas are like fairies playing. Fairies are playing in our minds. This is why we have these kind of bizarre topics, subjects, ideas that we talk about that this podcast is made of. This is a Neptune third house podcast. The fairies are playing.
I do think that is one of the great editions of the fairy tale model of the internet is the conceptualization of internet phenomenon as fairies or UFOs.
Well, like
Think
I have,
memes.
like I was saying, I have Neptune Aquarius, so I have aliens. You have Neptune Capricorn, so I'm not. It's more like I don't know if
Gnomes.
I'd go as far as devil. Yeah, mannequins, gnomes. That's the right. That's correct.
I
That's
can.
why you make more money.
I do think like forming them out of clay, like little. It's like that
Golems.
fucking. Oh, who's the author? Oh, da, 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 da. He has that famous like the YouTube claymation of his name is evading me.
Mark Twain.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
was like, I kept thinking fucking like Charles Darwin for some reason. I have like memetically associate those two people.
Really, that's interesting. That's an interesting connection.
I don't know why. I feel like they just have names that just like punch.
That's like
But
such an iconic original YouTube video. That's like such an important like YouTube cut from the good old days. Is that Mark Twain, mysterious stranger?
it's crazy too because I used to be like my friends and I would sit in Gmod movie theaters and watch YouTube poop and like internet content. Um, when I was like 14, and that would always roll its way in, but it'd be like the one serious video, and it was like always
Yeah,
like it's like
it's a really
searing and
high mind. It's a really high
yeah.
minded thing. I mean, Twain is great. Twain is a fellow Antares haver to connect it. Um, yeah, Twain and I have very similar charts, but also similar to the Mystery Man, Lost Highway. Like that is the Goetic demon. God, God has the devil on staff. I think people forget that.
He wasn't. He was an OG hire. He tried to make a split off company. The fall was a fucking failed IPO.
The Fall is a
All right.
shell corporation.
Yes. True. True. It's a tax haven.
Yes,
Hell is like
exactly right. Ave and I were talking about this. You know how you tax every business dealing. Do you think that soul purchases are taxed? You don't
that
know, you
is.
don't see it,
Yeah.
but are demon and is an angel keeping the ledger or is a demon?
I think it depends on where it's done. You could like get there's probably zones like magnetic zones where you can get
You have
better
to you have to,
deals.
you have to go to the no man's land, the no spirit land to get a good tax free. What place is spiritually abject enough to do non taxed spiritual dealings? The moon? No.
I was gonna say I feel like they've got one in fucking Utah. There's like a Mormon like
The
I know
Mormons have like expunged all energy.
there's like this
Devil's
garden
Tower.
too. There's like a thing you can do in Italy where you like look through the lock at a garden that's like an embassy, and then you see through Rome, and then you see into the Vatican, or there's some like progression where they're like, this is the only place where you can see straight across three countries or something, but like lines like that probably like I think about the Harley
Well,
Pasternak like fucking MK Ultra trainer for Kanye and like how they put him right on the border. Like those liminal zones
yeah.
are very good for intelligence and like
I would
intelligence
I would
work.
agree. I think you're right. It's a liminal place. It's a place in between two very holy places, like a place being fought for right now.
God, I have this. All right. I'm gonna try to tell this story in the loosest way possible. Okay, I have a
We don't
client.
have to. We don't have to.
No, it's so good. It's so good. I have a client, and I received a message. This is a very well to do young CEO um, saying we have to go to Israel to
Oh,
film.
oh,
It was like framed in such a way where it was that. I know we talked about this where it's like, where is the judge right now? Have you seen how much there's like this one soundbite, the last passage in Blood Meridian of
I
Holden.
know it's become a meme.
I know it's like tens of thousands of videos and all these kids who like are like, I resonate with this so much. I've never read the book though, and like
I know they don't know
he
what
is
he
a
would be
memeplex
doing.
who has found his way in.
They don't know what he would be doing to them. he would do exactly what they want their internet daddies to do. They don't know it, but he would give them what they need.
I do. I think that's a good image. Is the Tates out in Eastern Europe getting raped by the judge? It's okay to make jokes like that because everyone hates them.
Bro, they're
Just
not
kidding. It's
human. They're
bad to make
political
rape.
enemies.
True. They need to be. They need to be excised out of the U.S. Bring them to the liminal space. Bring them to Seattle. Outside of man, my brother might be moving to a town like Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
hmm To work at a lumber thing. But
really.
an aside, I
Banner.
have a funny story. This connects to a wider symptom. So it's a bit embarrassing. But you asked me last podcast if I had read The Time Machine. And I read the first like fourth of it. I didn't realize when I said yes because I found it. I was writing a paper in college about utopian idealism, like Thomas More's book Utopia, and ways utopian ideals had like showed up in fucking like 17, 1800s. And the argument of the paper was basically like the conception of utopia is based off of what political systems have or haven't failed at the time recently. And I got The Time Machine as one of the suggested books when I was like looking on like JSTOR to be like early mentions of Utopia. So it was extremely late at night and I just read the part with like the sweet
The
little
Adonai.
creatures. Um, and I never learned about the Morlocks. So when you
Oh,
brought
that's
them
so
up last
good.
time,
That's
I
so
was like,
fucking funny.
I
It's
know.
like,
I was
oh,
like,
it's the
I don't
beautiful
know what the fuck
utopia.
you're referencing, but I was like, I don't want to like divert the podcast and be like, oh, actually, I'm a fucking idiot. I haven't read this. So I read it this past week. The Morlocks are fucking terrifying, and it like completely undermines. And it's
Yes,
hilarious too because I was
that's
like, oh, it's the as H.G. Well puts it in his Utopian vision, it's like these ape-like creatures tearing apart the like low IQ fairy children. Um, but yeah,
they are real. This, I mean, I think that it's a very real thing. The Deeros.
that's a fucking banger book too.
It's
That
it's so good.
yeah,
Wells is a really fascinating character. He is very like Huxley, where really intimately involved with kind of the creation of what we could just call the New World Order, like the idea of a one world government, of there being universal peace among people, scientific advancement as the main thing, like, and he was very population control, just like Huxley. They're both very complicated characters, you know like it's very funny. Conspiracy theorists read Brave New World as a warning. In a lot of ways it's not. In a lot of ways, insofar as Huxley is a deeply complicated person, it is part of him's ideal. Just like Wilde, people read Dorian Gray and don't realize that this is Wilde exalting Dorian. This is a moral ideal.
he's writing about New York, or he's writing about Paris Fashion Week, um, and writing about the future of I can't say that. Um, the types of people who want to look very beautiful and look like ideals. But I think on Wells, was it you who was telling me the story about the European intelligence asset that was sent after Young, who had like
Yes.
loose lips?
Yes.
I feel like that time period, like there's like a 150-year stint where
Yes.
intelligence work was just like way fucking cooler and more
Yes.
fun, and
The
everyone was
yeah, the
like
OSS, the OG.
the while it was still
Well, because that's the beginning of international alliances and intelligence work. It's also like, because keep in mind also, before, like, this is part of the interesting stuff with communism, is like before communism, before the fascist governments, everybody is kind of friends. So all of these spies knew each other. It's like just really weird stuff. And like some of the main guys that form the American intelligence agencies were friends with these people who
they were
end up
all
being
at Fume.
traitors. Like everybody's flipping. Yeah, exactly.
Fume was like their Woodstock. They're like, damn, we should do this. um, but that just yeah, Wells. It makes me think about just some of the ties, like because it might not be Wells, but it was one of those fucking authors was like he's just like over in the fucking Soviet Union writing with you know it's very very insightful observations coming from you.
Crowley, the connection with Crowley to Huxley. I always say, there would be the potential for the kind of whore goddesses that Crowley idolizes would not be possible without Huxley's United Nations work popularizing and spreading birth control. Like the collective use of birth control is directly a product of Aldous Huxley, and thus directly a product of Aleister Crowley.
The thing you said about it being not a warning, I think it was an ideal. It also makes me think of something I saw on Twitter today that was this woman running for office, like a Congress seat or something. This like blonde, very like generic kind of like millennial hot girl. Or Twitter would be like she's mid as fuck. There's 300 other girls just like her, but everyone's like making comments either like denigrating her, being like it's just this terrible. It's kind of like AOC vibes, but more of like a normie white woman, and they're like, this is an MK Ultra candidate, like do a background check, blah blah blah. And it is both. She is definitely the product of exactly what you're talking about, in that this is like a type of person that could only come about because of the conversations happening 150 years ago and the wider systemic changes that kind of put us to this point. But simultaneously, how much MK Ultra has fallen that these are the types of fucking like Manchurian candidates we get is just like
Okay.
random millennial white woman fucking
this
like
is like this is a tired point, but MK Ultra is just a mass program now. The internet is MK Ultra. Everybody is an MK Ultra subject. There is no they don't need Mansons anymore. Everybody is Charles Manson.
This is what I was saying about the fucking Lex Friedman. That's your re-up. If you fall asleep, the meme of like eating. It's this continuation on the eating and watching YouTube thing. A lot of people fall asleep listening
That's
to
so disgusting.
creepypastas or
I mean,
listening to things.
yeah, because this is fucking Brave New World Hypnopadia,
Yeah,
which I have always wanted to spread. I've always thought it would be a good idea to make like a hypnopadic pillow, but implant your own, triggers.
this is the meme that needs to be made for this episode. Is we need a Lex Friedman Hypnopadia pillow. That's like immediately upon it detecting fucking delta waves in your head starts blasting Lex Friedman into your ears. And he's going to talk about love and the power of love transcending all, and his dinners with the Kushner family
They just destroyed my mall.
in New Jersey.
Yeah, it's gone.
The one is that the one I've been to?
The Monmouth Mall? I don't know if we've ever gone to the mall.
What did they do to it?
It's demolished. The Monmouth Mall.
Is it
They've
like
been there forever.
toppled or like empty?
Toppled.
Was it empty beforehand, like for a period of time?
I made a TikTok there, I feel like a year or two ago, about it being empty, but it wasn't like hollowed. No, there were still stores and people right till the end.
Really like abandoned malls. Friend
Same.
of the
That's what
pod,
I talk about in the video.
Sean Sean Monahan, friend of the pod, told me a story about his time at RISD, how there were some cool kids who like lived in a mall in like a staircase underneath a shop or something, and they had like a whole little kind of innovated bunker type artist commune thing. Thought that was a very cool idea, living in a mall, but living specifically in one of the strange interstitial kind of like hallway spaces that you're not supposed to go.
I think I tend to like RISD students. Not all of them, but I think they tend to be pretty good.
I mean, it's the best art school in the U.S. I think every RISD student, brilliant, brilliant beyond imagination. um,
Memes.
mm, Memes, yeah. Brain rot memes. It's good. It's clipping time on the podcast. We have a couple for this episode. We really gotta, we gotta make it snappy.
Okay.
But
Send
all
me
right,
them so I can start thinking.
prep. Morning routine, Saratoga water guy. What's the
Oh,
analysis?
yes. Oh, fantastic one. Okay. I mean, I think that this actually is related to what we've been talking about. The Saratoga water prep guy is an Adonai. He is an Adonai from the Time Machine. He is like a fairy in more ways than one, um, and is exercising for no reason. It is a life of vanity, and the Morlocks are always mere steps away, always right around the corner. And he did. Did you see that he got evicted? Did you see that
Morlock's got him. He was torn apart.
the Morlocks finally got him. I think he became too well known, and the Morlocks were like, but up until that, I really like the pirate edit. I think the pirate edit is very funny because it's a lifestyle that is unimaginable. I mean, it's very American Psycho. And one of the comments I saw was like, "Bro didn't know American Psycho wasn't a guidebook," which misses the point of American Psycho, because the American Psychos, to them it is a guidebook. That is the point. The bonfire of the vanities, and we are simply awaiting for a mass Morlock uprising against these digital vanities, which I forget what astrologer, but somebody said that is going to be happening in Neptune Aries. All of the lifestyle personality influencers, the digital Morlocks are finally going to get them.
This makes me think of DoorDash drivers, how it's a very common talking point among these guys to be like, I would never cook. Cooking is a waste of time. I have DoorDash. I can DoorDash Chipotle. I can DoorDash seed oil free. But the fucking Morlocks show up and just fucking eat him instead. Because the Morlocks already sometimes will get hungry and they'll eat your DoorDash food. But it's funny. I do think for content, I wish that now that the issue is when we clip this, people aren't going to know what the fucking Adonai is. But
you got to just have an image.
Yeah.
Of
For
beautiful
context,
blonde boys
who haven't read the book, the Morlocks are the hand that reaches him that he's saying thank you to and paying reverence to that will kill him. Very base class warfare take, bro. We got to get Taylor Lorenz on here. You just gave the Democratic Party IP for 1 year to run off of.
It goes beyond. It goes beyond class. I don't think it's about class.
It's about spiritual class.
Yes.
It's about
well, the Morlocks are the energetic ones. Did you see they made a 2000s era one, and it's got fucking Jeremy Irons as a Morlock? It's good. It's quite good.
Like a movie?
Yeah.
Damn, I was thinking when I was listening to it, I was like, damn, I want to fucking make this into a movie. It was so vivid.
There's a few really good movies, honestly. It's one of the better adapted ones.
Oh, bro, we got to make it in AI. Imagine
Morlock cave.
Imagine the fear that could be evoked by the swarming tendril fingerless Morlock masses.
It's amazing also how regularly it appears in dreams, this motif, the Morlock motif. It's one of the most real things. Even fucking BAP talks about the reality of Morlocks underground.
Making me think of my dream, or the last part of my dream I remember. I was on a football field in Korea, and I was surrounded by Korean people, and I was throwing... They were teaching the Korean people somewhat some football, not soccer, American football. Korean American football players were teaching a class, and I was like, oh, I can throw a football. And I was throwing, and they were all cheering for me.
Oh my, a beautiful wish fulfillment dream. Shall
um,
I?
but no, it was a weird dream. It was like they were very. I went to sleep. I had like important phone calls right before I went to bed, and I was like, I'm gonna nap for an hour, then try to like grind set my way, pop this in, and do the 345, 354 standing out on the balcony type mindset. And I ended up just sleeping. But throughout the night, I was kind of having dreams of being handed the football. I had to perform. I had to show I can throw the ball.
It's funny. I'll give you my dream. You were in it. Not last night, but the night before. Dream of a zombie lioness mother. Kirsten Dunst asking a Sphinx statue, like it's a statue of that zombie lioness mother, for help. When water runs out in LA, her willingness to become a monster to keep her daughter alive. Then we were with Curtis, a party for him. Then I'm with you and the blank team. I am brought in to play with their toys. I try to determine which are the best sellers. Stuffed cats, water guns, ugly plushies. I had a bullseye paper clipped to my leg, which shows I play tag. So we play tag, though it ends up being Augie and my old art teacher, Caroline.
It's interesting. Do you know
PhD
what
in
toys
toys
they
and
sell?
playing. I have a PhD in toys and playing. Um, yeah, I think so. I mean,
You
I think
do
I
you know
have some
all
of those
three of
toys.
those toys or things they sell?
Are they all? They have those versions of all those toys? Interesting. Interesting. I've
For
only seen
context,
the
for the
ugly.
listeners to try to figure this out, there's a client, different client than anyone mentioned before, but they sell toys and they have made guns. They have ugly plushies.
I've only seen the ugly plushies. I've never seen the
It
guns.
was from a previous toy thing, but
Okay,
let's change the subject. Let's change next meme. Ghibli AI ification going against Miyazaki's wishes.
disgusting, disgusting. Um, the fact that it's being used to depict such horrible things, though, I think is the better irony. I don't know. I doubt most of the people making those edits know, but that is a far more accurate depiction of what is going on. It's like kind of, you've heard the phrase whitewashing, um, cleaning up ugliness, but in the worst possible ways. Very bad. I don't know. It's so distasteful that I have little to say about it.
I I'm gonna go on a schizo rant for a second. I'm generally very anti AI. I have dabbled. I was one client 4 years ago was an AI company, kind of pre GPT, and they had me make things. This is actually where after leaving them, it's where Freud was right and Marx was right came from was the
I
tools
remember.
that I had learned how to use. But beyond that, I've generally been pretty against it. But one client a year ago was actually fucking The Boy and the Heron itself, the film. And we were tasked, one of the things we were doing was making kind of like viral promotions for the soundtrack of the film. And one of the ideas I had pitched was a Ghibliification AI filter, which, I pitched it, was like, oh, we shouldn't do this. He would hate this. And they ended up like elevating it up. And he was like, I guess the tone was just generally like if it's disconnected enough, it's not from them. Um, but there was disdain. Nonetheless, one of the guys who was in charge of said budget was like, just try it. So I was fumbling around with different AI tools trying to get that to work for quite some time, actually. And we actually put out a really fucking shitty one. It was like fucking terrible. So, full year later, the idea that this is like the break the internet thing is very hilarious. I'm like consistently haunted by little clay sculptures I make that I'm like, oh, this is stupid. I don't want to play with this anymore. And then they come back and they're like running around, and it's just like You know,
Well, I
I
think
wouldn't
that
care if I hadn't like spent 2 or 3 days thinking about this exact thing and how to make it happen because I know these fucking stupid people would love it. But
there's a tragedy, which is like for an artist, do you uphold and publicize your past failures so that people can see their echoes in victories, or do you just display your wins?
I think something I was thinking about this actually before this call was I like I really like seeing things happen
Same.
that have no author and just knowing, like laughing about it and being like seeing it like pop up and affect people and be like, that's if only you knew, if only you knew.
I know my narcissistic quality is very insistent upon recognition. That's why that like even though obviously we've done it plenty, um, I do prefer to be known.
I think with the internet, it's interesting because I mean, I'll say this and some of you can cringe in the audience. I do think content creation and memes are an art to the right people. The idea of like conjuring and generating mass sentiment like that, I think that is my favored creative pursuit. And now that I've met some people who have like donned the I am the creator of X meme, I find it's like an absolutely destructive thing upon them. It's like the
Certainly.
worst kind of hit song one could imagine. Like I'd say friend of the pod Vexbolt, so it would be funny to have him on here. I think he is a genuinely very tapped in creative person, and I think he is like not it's not good to be the mass unfollowing or the let him cook. I know he wrote it into a type of notoriety, but like it's people fucking hate him now. Like it's a complicated thing. Like it's not um specifically with this type of like internet hype virality, it is like not what it used to be. Because
No.
the monetization's the other fucking major issue is like at least back in the day, if we wrote like the fucking one chart topping song and we were one hit wonders and like KLF, at least we had the $1 million to burn. The vast majority of these people are like they enter this like complex of the most like degenerate like managers and agents and fucking like people desperately trying to like extract any monetary value out of something that really shouldn't. I don't know, it's fun right now, it's still fun because people, I mean, meme coins are arguably like one of the ways that this gets really gross and ugly is like the need to tie capital to everything even if it's just play.
The good thing is that the the fruits of sin are death, or how do you say that? Fuck. The rewards of sin are fuck me. It's such an obvious quote. I don't know how I'm forgetting it, but they're going to get fucked. That's basically it. They're going to ruin what they have by virtue of their greed.
I find the concept of like mimetic individuals, like the celebrity, is the other kind of major 2020s art form. It's interesting to see people like struggle with and try to perfect. I do think, for all of his very obvious flaws and bad opinions, Kanye is the blueprint. But it's let's talk about Mr. Beast. I like hearing you shit talk Mr. Beast. It's funny.
I
The,
don't
the
have no, I
true
haven't watched
Jupiterian.
anything of him.
Do you know about the Beast games?
No.
He did
Are
like
there?
his game show.
Oh, I did. I heard a good meme, which was like Mr. Beast is really like fuck, like a cartoon villain or like an old evil king or something, because he's always got like 50 people locked up in various torture chambers at all times. I thought that was funny.
I
If
think
we,
I better
if
retweet.
we reframe him as a sadistic evil figure, I could
He
like if
is. He
I know, but if he was more publicly like, "Oh, we're going to see about doing this," that would be cool. I would like a popular villain. I think we should have like evil mustache twirling. We have evil mustache twirling villain celebrities. I just don't like I don't like that he bothers to try to pretend that it's for good. It's not. It's for greed. He should be open about that. Clear about his evil intentions. The kids will not care. That will not stop the mass child army. They will willingly serve the evil king without even, they've already been mind controlled. You don't need to pretend.
I'm pretty sure that's the branding of fucking Sketch, this like sports streamer, as he calls himself Evil Mr. Beast. I remember I saw that hashtag and I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Someone should be the true evil. Because he has so much. I do. All right. Open waters. Is everything legal in open water? Someone, legal scholars of the MIA audience, if he did something out in like a no man's land, could he do like a Squid Game, like a real death? I also like, I do wonder if we're ever gonna get there. Like if Canada legalized suicide, would ever have like a performance like a Coliseum. He's probably the closest modern thing.
People yearn. They yearn for the blood of the Colosseum.
The new death.
Here, have you read about how actors and prostitutes and like people like that were in the same class in Rome of like sub citizen?
That's where influencers need to be.
Yes, absolutely. Like they can be given good wine and food, but they should not be able to vote.
I don't know. This is rehammering in the point of the new podcast, which is Twitter has like homogenized the news feed. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, everyone just has the same like disseminated 10 ideas. I think it's the perfect time though to like challenge, because there's so few people who are like outside of that complex now. When you see like fucking Grit Cult and RFK talking, you're like, something's wrong here, man. Something is really wrong here. Someone needs to like, someone needs to take a stab out. So we need a fucking, we need, I think the blueprint, we were talking about this before the pod, but like kind of anything that was deep internet is going to get mainstreamed now. I think something that has not had a Mr. Beast tier instantiation of. This is the fucking L. Ron Hubbard moment too. For context, this is going to get clipped down the road. Um, but there's not like a true internet profit. There has not been. Yeah, I'm like, they're like,
Uh oh.
he's Scientology was started by fucking podcasters. Like, um, who are having meta conversations about the creation of it. But like there hasn't been, because there's all these like instances of these like micro cults online, but there's been no one who has mainstreamed it. And
I
I'm trying
was
to, is there anything come to mind?
for big cults. No, there's nothing.
It's like there's certainly like the genetic makeup of a Joseph Smith is out there.
Yeah,
They just need to have their third eye tapped.
they need to get the cocoa melon taken away and be put in front of the golden tablets. Here's a
The golden
funny
iPad
thing.
would be a fucking dope vision, actually.
Well,
Like
that is a
instead
good
of giving
idea.
my baby an iPad, I'm giving them Joseph Smith's golden tablets.
I was listening. I listened. There's a radio station I listen to. There's a plug because I think everybody that listens to the MIA should listen to this radio station called WFMU, and it's one of my favorite parts about being back on the East Coast is listening to WFMU. Either way, they have this guy Gus Bodenheim who does like kind of weird spoken word pieces on another guy's show. And he was talking about how all great scammers, all great con men use initials. And this is so fucking true. It's insane. Like L. Ron Hubbard, shortening Lafayette, G.I. Gurdjieff, um, C.G. Jung. But then you get the real affirmation of this idea with Bob, with J.R. Bob Dobbs. Like it's a totally accurate assessment. Like all great con men do that.
Trying to think of any influencers who do. Makes me think about approved media of the MIA One Piece. There's an acronym in One Piece.
That's half. That's 50% approved.
There's an acronym D, the initial D in the middle of names, where they're
Initial
like
D.
they don't know where it comes from, but if you have the will of the D, then you are like one who will over like it's like this perpetual meme throughout the series, all 1,000 episodes of the manga and anime. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anyone. I guess do you know who I Show Speed is? Have you been seeing his shit about China? He's like the Chinese government has like publicly acknowledged him as a force for good because he's like easing relations between the US and China because he like went and wore a bald cap as a Shaolin monk and did a backflip off of the Great Wall of China. But his name is I Show Speed. Maybe the I there
No,
is the only one I can think of.
that doesn't count.
Mm.
It's the word I.
Yeah, no. You ready to do a name change?
No. Or if I take on the oh wait, if I take on a
C.S.
persona,
Gabriel.
if I take on a persona, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. If I take on a persona, then I will give him initials.
There is a oh my god, man. There's something I'm going to think of the best way to talk about this, but it's truly lost MIA media. There was a game show produced that
Oh, is
Chris
that
was
never
on.
happening?
No,
Damn. Could we clip
it
it?
is. It's fucking. It's so funny, but it is like it could never go out by the people who made it. Now I'm gonna try to get it and release it, not attached to them,
Yeah.
but there's the premiere of a character. They call him the Doc. That is Chris's Magnolia persona. But um, my brother and I watched it, and then the next night we were watching The Apprentice. We're like, who wins in a Riz off, the Don or the Doc? And
Yeah, that character came out of nowhere. I was like showering before going, and I was just shaving, and I'm like, I should just have a handlebar mustache. And then I was like, I should really fuck up my hair. And it just became, I got the character. They came to me.
his name is not the Doc, but they call him that. That's what they call him. They call him the Doc.
Here's
Uh,
something interesting, historical. Have you heard of Papa Doc, the dictator of Haiti?
oh, Papa! I thought you said Hoppa Doc. Yeah, I do know Papa Doc. Papa
So
Doc Ligby or something. What's his
Legba. Well, Legba is like a voodoo word, but really, really fascinating character. That's an MIA approved cult.
Oh,
MIA
Papa
approved.
Ligba. Sorry, Papa
Papa Legba is
Ligba.
the god, the Loa. But
He was channeling Papa Ligba.
yeah, well, Baron Samedi, um, and Papa Legba, but they're all in the same family. But I would, I think the MIA affirmation: if you are going to be a dictator, make it scary. Be an evil god.
I do think I
Well, like
recently watched a bunch of videos on oh, Jonestown. What's his fucking name?
Jim Jones.
Jim Jones. Crazy fucking life. Crazy fucking life. Had like taken over a good part of like California politics. Like dude was fucking extremely powerful.
Do
Pre
they go to Guyana?
yeah.
Guyana? Yeah.
Um but that's the same vibe of what I'm asking for is like there's not I know there are like micro influencer versions. I've watched the fucking atrocity exhibition videos where it's like a guy goes down to fucking not Guyana but like Mexico or something with like 10 people, but
No,
like
no,
like
unacceptable.
true
Pathetic.
aspirational tier. I guess it's just fucking influencers like grooming people on Discord. It's like
It's
it feels like
pathetic.
all
It's
ambition.
completely pathetic. It's so
Yeah.
sad. Like, okay, here's something to keep in mind. Sexuality was much freer back then. it was not like now everybody's fucking jerking off and on the iPad on the golden tablet. But back then, you could fuck. You didn't need a cult to get pussy. So cults were not forming just. That was part of it, obviously. That's always part of it. But that was not the reason that they existed. The Discord grooming is a sign of like real abject social failures. Um, like that. The people who just groom, it's very sad. Like because they are sexual failures outside of the internet. A good cult leader is going to be a sexually successful person with a penchant for grooming.
I do think the internet has done unspeakable horrors. This is something I was actually pitching to a company. It was just DoorDash, dating apps, and destitute minds. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a triple D's. I don't know. The people have been, their agency will has been raped by the apparatus of Brave New World pleasure machines that are attached to every ounce of will that comes out of someone who does their Adonai maxing to up their tea so they can dance around longer and hold the attention of an Andrew Tate video for 5 minutes before they
While
go
while
play
you
with
were
their iPad
Adonai
outside.
while you were Adonai maxing, I was Morlock maxed. While you were Adonai pilling,
What
I
is
was Morlock
Morlock
maxing.
maxing like dying in the crowd at Travis Scott Astro World?
It's like living. No, it's living in a cave. It's living underground. It's discovering advanced technologies and utilizing them to torture people.
Discovering them like pawing around in the dark, being like
Yes,
confused by the
that's what
rituals
happened.
around.
Yeah, that's what happened. None of them know how to. In that story that I was telling you about in the last episode, one of the parts that really struck me was that even the good guys, like the good, the Tyros, the integrated robots, they were like, all of this advanced technology is from some ancient civilization. We have no idea what it is. We're just here to prevent Morlocks from getting it and Earth people from getting it. Like until the right time when the aliens tell us we can. But yeah, the Diro, like the evil Morlocks, just find this shit and start killing people.
Um, what does the modern day Morlock look like?
Blue, long hair, fangs.
Describing a Discord user.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. All right,
I have
next.
one more meme, and then we can do the symbols. Mhm. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Take a moment of silence. Do some breathing, audience listeners.
I want you all to take the silence in hand.
What do you think about the Signal group chats
Oh, great! All right,
or
when that
the
this
world?
actually will bridge into our next topic: the utilization of emojis by the top governmental officials. This is vitally important. I'm going to just open up the text. Let's. We should do a dramatic reading. Actually, I think that would be a good use.
Send me the link on Discord. I don't want to try to find the same
I'm
thing.
going to get it. I think it was on the Atlantic. The Atlantic. Let's find it.
While Chris gets this, I'm gonna do an ad for acupuncture. I had never done acupuncture before, maybe 5 days ago, and a few people had recommended someone local. I go, and I think I'm just gonna get a scan to show inflammation. I've had sciatica pain for about a year. Used to work out, constantly run and not stretch. Gave myself sciatica. But I go to acupuncturists. They scan my back, and I'm thinking, they'll recommend something. They'll set a next time that we can meet up. Instead, they throw me on the table. Next thing I know, I have 30 needles in my back. And upon probably like needles 20 through 30, I just start getting very lightheaded. And I'm like telling him, I'm like, yo, like I might pass out. He's like checking my pulse and he's like, yes, you're going to pass out. But I managed to stay alive. He leaves me for a little bit, then comes back and is like, can you handle the electricity? And I'm like, I don't know, just let's give it a shot. But I had no idea. It's extremely painful. That's the first thing.
Mm.
Is maybe not all acupuncturists, but specifically some who are attempting to amend issues. They say it's like the fire leaving. You need to basically confront the fire with air. That's the pain leaving your body, and you're basically like allowing blood to reach further places that are either like your fucking spine, muscle tendons are blocking, but shit's fucking insane. I will say immediate relief upon being done. Also, like it was just fucking painful. Like it's not chill, but it is effective. Um, Nonetheless, MIA audience members, have you tried acupuncture? What do you think? What are these fucking texts?
I'm trying to find it because the fucking article is paywalled, but I have a non-paywalled version. I'm just trying to get it. Oh, actually, all right. There's a vape with a Tamagotchi inside it that dies if you stop puffing. I'm just gonna read. I'm gonna just
Suddenly,
read. No, I'm just
okay.
gonna read out headlines as I try to find this. I will
Wait,
find it.
I know about they have these like health bars where you can put an entire phone on them now. Um, I saw one of those. The person called it Geekiana, the Geekiana bar. Ooh,
My homunculus. My homunculus.
article. My homunculus is trying to kill me. Uh,
I jerked off my brother at the White Lotus Resort and Spa.
that sounds like a real one. Do you know about what's happening in the White Lotus? You definitely don't seem like someone who would watch that show.
I don't watch that show.
You
I
don't
don't watch
watch.
TV.
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to plug this. This is the show. There's one show that I do watch. I'm not going to find the text. There's one show that I do watch. It's called Common Side Effects. It's on Adult Swim.
I tried to watch that. I couldn't get
You
into
didn't
it.
like it. I thought it was quite good. I thought it
I
was one of
thought
the.
I didn't think it was bad. I think it was something about it happening right when the Luigi stuff happened that it was like
I'd watched the stuff promoting it way before.
I know it was around before, but it was like a this is going to reveal maybe more about my mind than I'd like to, but like um the internet sentiment because of the Luigi stuff and some of those things going viral right after as it was beginning to premiere attracted a type of fan to it that was so in my like mental model like so abhorrent. I'm choking on the words as they try to come out. So terrible that it has like pre-tainted it like a Rick and Morty fan that like I view that show as like I need to like let it needs to cool down. It needs to not have another season and like be away from that the droves watching it right now because oh, man, anti opiate sentiment's crazy though. Like I don't think I've seen a more unified political stance on anything. It's like 95%. Everyone wants to fucking kill the Sackler family. People who are at their throats arguing about group chat war plans.
My vibe got fucked up.
Your vibe?
Yeah, I can't find these fucking texts. Every
Did you get
single
texted something bad?
no. Just the Atlantic. Every other resource is just posting text. They're not posting the images of the group chat, and thus the emojis are stripped away. The emojis are only in the paywalled Atlantic piece, the actual pictures. Maybe it's on Twitter, like, but I'm getting angry. I'm getting angry. It's upsetting me.
The level of research that goes into producing the MIA.
I
An
know.
intern's getting fired. An intern's getting flayed in the Mr. Beast machine.
I
The
have
evil
I have
Mr.
I
Beast.
have an intern to flay.
Mm,
I'm gonna get so mad.
all right, just let's talk contextually about the texts. I'm honestly pretty out of the loop with this. From what I understand, Atlantic journalist was accidentally added to group chat that was dropping the war plans, the album rollout. Um, I've seen a lot of fake texts. I've seen Pete Hegsworth saying we got to do at least 10,000, bro. Um, I don't know what's real. I saw fucking Richard Hanania, who it's very interesting to see that guy get more and more popular. But I saw him promoting fake stuff that like JD Vance was like, do you know that comment thing where they do the racial epithet? They do like the N, the I.
Mhm.
I saw like JD Vance starting one of those with cabinet members. I don't know if that's true or real. But I guess other than the Atlantic person being added, the bad part is that they're just doing it over group chats that aren't secure or
I got
something.
it. I got it. I got it. I got it. Thank fucking God. I was going to flip. I was going to flip my lid. Now the MIA the reading of the text that they deserve. I texted it to you, or do you not have your phone? Should I put it on fucking Discord?
No, I've got
All right,
my phone. Also,
let's.
soon to drop official MIA stickers.
You got to
Keep your
scroll
eyes on the
down.
store.
No, no. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. Okay, okay. You got to scroll way down. They really hide it. They really don't want you to know that they're using fucking emojis. They don't want you to know this. Michael Waltz. Fist bump. American flag. Fire. That says more. That says more than any of the fucking shit. All right. I think we should go to. Do you have it?
No, it's trying to get me to subscribe. Did you pay for it to see this?
No, it's we hope you enjoyed this gift article. You didn't get the gift article?
I'm like looking at it, but it's not letting me scroll down.
Oh my
Other than
gosh.
without to
Shall
do
I?
free
All right.
trial.
Do you want me to do? No, don't. We can't lose more time to this. Shall I just read
You just
it?
want to screen cap? Yeah, just read it.
All right. JD Vance says, "I will say a prayer for victory." All right. It's funny. We finally got it. I actually just want to talk about that. The irony of Vance being a Catholic or supposing to be a Catholic, and the Pope is like, mm-mm-mm. And every American is like, fuck the fucking Pope, fuck the Pope. Like, yes, this is well known to every American. No American can really be a Catholic because no American really believes in the Pope. It shocks me that people do believe in the Pope at all. I mean, that's like such an old world reality that is just gone. Okay. VP, building collapsed. Had multiple positive ID. Pete Carilla, the IC. Amazing job. What? Typing too fast. The first target, their top missile guy. We had positive ID of him walking into his girlfriend's building, and it's now collapsed. Excellent. A good start. Good job, Pete and your team! Exclamation, exclamation. The team in Mal did a great job as well. Great work, all. Powerful start. CENTCOM was/is on point. Great job, all. More strikes ongoing for hours tonight, and we'll provide full initial report tomorrow. But on time, on target, and good readouts so far. Kudos to all, most particularly those in theater and CENTCOM. Really great. God bless. Prayer emoji, flex emoji, American flag. Great work. End effects.
What
This
skin
is
tone are the
yellow.
hands?
Yellow. White supremacists. Just like that
That article I
that
sent.
article you
The one
sent,
that's
yeah.
like Yeah. They're trying to declaim their white privilege.
The absence of the emojis is really surprising to me because I think more than anything that shows the reality of the millennial complex that has been installed.
Do elaborate, please.
The administration has been over. I mean, I think Biden and Trump are both millennial administrations. Vance is the first millennial VP. The fact that emojis are being utilized is I if you showed that to like fucking Nixon or something, they would flip. Any past politicians would flip the fuck out at something like that. These
I do
are
wonder.
these are base. This is not language that should be in politics. This should be among the Adonai, but not among the politicians. Which brings us finally to rock art, to petroglyphs. This is something I've thought about for a while. Um, I think the MIA was out of the loop. We didn't have the pod going for so long that they have not seen my correspondence work that has been being put into decks of cards. But this one's new enough, it's happening right now, that I think we should give them some insight into correspondence work. Do you have the image pulled up?
I've got it. Damn, I just flashed a sticker. Secret arc. If you guys make the memes that were requested, I'll tell you the story of how this sticker was gifted to me. Um, now that I have shown it, um, I've got the 7th century geek bar. I've got the symbols. We have asterisk, a viaform, circle, claviform, cordiform, crosshatch. Where are these from?
Caves.
Like cave paintings?
Yes, these are symbols that appear repeatedly in caves. They are, and what I thought was very charming, because I'd already had the intuition that it was going to make a good deck or make good correspondence. Is that the researcher found that it was 32 symbols that repeat.
Which one would you put with the sun?
The circle.
What
I think
about
the
the moon?
circle, the half circle. The circle and the half circle are the sun and the moon.
I was gonna say I think it'd be very cool if the circle had a dot in it. I wonder if you ever found that.
Yeah, I'm sure that was happening. Like, yeah, these are amalgamations of the repeating parts.
I do like how stripped down they are. The hand,
I think that the oval is a mouth or a pussy. I think it's bodily. It's a bodily hole.
the jar.
The cordiform, the heart, I really like. That I'm giving to Tiferet.
I'll say for context, I'm gonna make the thumbnail of the YouTube video this image so people can
Cool.
follow along. I'm too lazy to add it to the video. Sorry, y'all.
Aviform means
Um,
bird. It's bird form. So I think I'm giving that to Gemini.
what do you think about pectiform? Is that a rake? Is that like a fork?
Yeah, it's like a rake
Tool?
or a comb, like a hair comb. I'm thinking about giving that to Seven, to Netsuck, like the part, the kind of Venus.
Is tectiform an arrow?
I see an arrow as well, but it's a roof. But that plays perfectly, of course, into the tower, which is both Mars and a building.
What do you think of the W sign? That looks like some titties.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the W, but you could be right. I could give that to Cancer for titties. Good. Actually, that's a good idea. I'll just take that down.
What
And this is
about
kind of what I
the
want to get at, is that I think we could make um, we could make this a semi-democratic process. I think we should encourage the people to give their thoughts on these symbols. These are the new emojis. We're bringing back cave art. We will get Apple to add these to the iPhone.
Have you seen you can make your own emojis now with Apple?
No,
It's called
no,
Emoji.
it's no. Oh, that's
You
okay.
tell it, you explain it, and then like I did one actually. It looks horrible. It looks it looks so ridiculous. I was trying to get an old man, like an old
Is
man
it
version
just
of myself.
faces?
Wait, is there?
Because we need like a unicursal
This is gonna
hexagram.
this is gonna dox a text. But fuck. Maybe I'm gonna screen cap and zoom in on it. Actually, it's
uh,
interesting though. You can like explain. You could be like a specific type of skeleton or something, but
Neat.
it looks. Who does this look like?
You, Banner?
It looks more like Banner for some reason. Isn't that strange?
Claviform is a club, so I think that might be 5. Like the Mars aspect of the tree of life. What do
I
you think
think
about
we
the
could do a
crosshatch?
type form where people could vote. We could do like a percentage thing.
Okay. Here's the problem: is that I'm not in a rude way, but I think there's probably only like 2 people listening that could do that. That could like correspond them directly. I think it would be
I
better
think
to
we got
just.
to give them answers to choose from. Like they're not going to be able to type things in. They're going to be typing.
I was no. I think it would be better to get them to give their feelings, their vibes from these symbols. I think it's. I mean,
Crowdsource vibes.
crowdsourced vibes because from those vibes I can just make the correspondences. I actually wanted to shout out number one. I guess you know what we're gonna be really good. I think now that the podcast is back, we have to honor the audience that's still here. So let's do a little shout out at the fucking end of the near end of the pod. We need to say thank you to Dark Crund, the beautiful Holy Antares Trinity meme. Amazing stuff. Somebody had retweeted your Emmanuel dish. We need to shout out Emmanuel Desu for his Japanese scientist who is curing brain rot. We need to thank the people who are, and then the one I wanted to say in regards to correspondences, I got a really good critique of my. I didn't agree with it, but I was just appreciative to get it. Um, Critique of my Kabbalistic analysis. Okay. Freddie Powell. Thank you, Freddie Powell. Okay, back to the work.
I'll say also, we're reactivating the Patreon, aka give us fucking money. I'll send stickers to you if you subscribe to the Patreon. We have some MIA
Everyone,
stickers left. There's like 2 people right now, so if it's like, listen, we'll figure it
this
out.
could be a
But
swarm, a horde.
I'll also say this is reverse feedback for the podcast. Bad punishment. I can't. Let me find this guy's handle. Some guy sent a DM where he's like, "Less laughter, more poetry."
Fuck you. Fuck you.
I
That's
sent him a
bad.
picture
Bad.
of JD Vance with a lollipop. Um,
This
and
has always been a whimsy maxed podcast. This is never poetry. If you can't hear the poetry and laughter, you're doomed.
I feel like it's also just like, if you want the podcast, don't be fucking annoying. Don't like say stupid shit.
If you have nothing
Be
nice
like,
to say nothing at all. You just have to make nice memes of us.
no, if you do have valid things to say, just make sure they're smart. Don't say something stupid like laughter. Like hating on laughter has got to be peak morb vibe.
All right, let's go. What do you think about the crosshatch? I have a lot of thoughts on the crosshatch.
Let me look at them again.
I will say it is one of the it is in the I Ching. The crosshatch. The crosshatch is a Japanese.
tic
or
tac
excuse me, a
toe,
Chinese. It's a radical.
sewing, structure.
Sewing. Oh, sewing is a really interesting. Okay. I have mixed feelings because I think you have to go back as far as you can. I don't know if did sewing exist for cave people? Maybe partially.
I guess like I think about this is doxing myself. I think about the Boy Scouts. I think about crosshatch. Also, the word has the association, but it's like a type of lashing, whips and lashing. You can like structure very basic primitive structures with like
Mm.
it wouldn't necessarily be sewing, but it's like binding sticks together.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, I guess I have been. Motherfucker, I'm trying to search in this document. I have been poisoned by my reading of Chinese that I see this as. I'm going to pull it up. I believe it's hexagram 49, maybe? No. It's the well. Might be 48. Pull this up for you. And I will send you over text the symbol. This is the real meat, MIA listeners. This is what real symbolic working looks like. We look at pictures and we talk about them. And we think about them. We feel the pictures. Okay. Yes.
it's
48.
like
I'm going to send you this picture. I'm going to text it to you right now.
in
It's
karate
just a radical. Look at this.
and all kung fu. That's good. You have to like punch sand for a year or
Yes.
like carry water. Just looking at shapes, drawing
Yes.
different shapes. Look, you
Absolutely.
should spend at least a year looking at this before you say anything to us about memes.
I have learned so much from just doing that. It sounds like a joke, but it really isn't. You really do just have to be looking at pictures. Well, did I ever tell you, when I was like uber depressed at 13, I had this fantastic realization that I was like, I need to just look at beautiful things as much as possible for the rest of my life. And I've done that, and it worked. Look at what I texted you.
The
Look at the
true
radical.
whimsy pill. How
That
many hours a day are you spending looking at beautiful things? Yeah, this does. What is this pictographic for in Chinese?
it's kind of well. It's like irrigated land.
I can see
We'll
that.
pull it up on Wiktionary. We'll see
It's
what we're thinking.
property. It's the lines of property. We've always had the concept of mine and yours.
I mean,
Ugh.
I give it to Saturn. No matter what it is, I'm giving it to Saturn.
It looks like a structure to me. It looks like division, the intentional division and combination of lines.
It's a well. It's a hometown. It's like a shaped object. So
Um,
I trust that.
I just started working out again, so for those watching the YouTube can see me fucking stretching. I can't even move my arm like that. It's so fucking bad. Um, fuck. I had one other thing to say. I was gonna say for the sinofuturism of this podcast. After acupuncture, I'm like 99% there with China. I'm like, we gotta get in there. We gotta cook a little bit.
We've been sino-futurist for years and
I'm just
years.
saying, I was like part of that was a little bit farcical, but now after acupuncture, I'm like, all right,
I've been all in since my extensive I Ching studies.
listen, I'm just saying we've got the 50-year plan that the
I know
CCP is paying us
people
for.
don't even know about the fucking MIA long-term plan, nor could they. It would drive them mad.
What's the fucking thing? The Beltway Initiative, or what do they call it? We're building a memetic beltway.
I only have bad words. Um,
Is that what they call it? What do they call the fucking
just don't think about it. Let's move on. Let's move on to another symbol. I want
the
to
Great
talk.
Memetic Beltway?
Here's actually what I
Belton
want to.
Road. The
Here's
Memetic Belton Road is going to be the name of the episode.
here no no. Here's what I want to talk about, and this will end the rock art conversation. The spiral. The spiral. let's talk about the spiral. To me, this is
Junji Ito.
probably the most significant of the petroglyphs of the rock art is the spiral. To me, this is really, really, really something that does not appear in nature. This is something special. Like maybe you could look at sleeping snakes, or but
Snail.
they're snail. Like there's some shells, but
Bro,
to
you're going against all of Holofractal right now. They see the spiral everywhere.
that's what I'm saying. Like the spiral is an image of God. The spiral is such a complex image and such a profound image. I I okay, so here's where I'm between. Giving this to Kether, giving it to like the highest ineffable form of God that is available to the cavemen, to the fool, to the zero, the air, the winds, the movement of foolishness, or to Yesod, to like the unconscious, the dreaming. Because I think there's strong arguments for each.
R/Holofractal. Destroy his mind with DMT. Get him. Um, I need to depart to a top secret meeting with the CCP. But I honestly, okay. I was feeling the first one. I was feeling like the reading of God with Kether, but I'm also like the unconscious kind of makes sense too. But I feel like that's a more like modern bias take.
I agree. I think the concept of what a spiral was to cavemen, and that's part of my trouble. Am I looking at the symbol as the symbol that it remains, or am I trying to look through the caveman's eyes? This is why
See
we're
is the Morlock.
this is why we're getting the vibe democracy.
All right.